Jordan's accident is starting to feel like the kind of story Port Charles is going to regret digging into. And guys, the deeper this thing goes, the less I believe we are dealing with a normal crash. Something about it feels wrong from every angle. Not dramatic wrong, controlled wrong. Like somebody already knew how the story was supposed to end before Jordan even opened her eyes in that hospital bed. Because if you really pay attention to the atmosphere around this storyline, nobody actually feels settled. Curtis is angry. Jordan is uneasy. The investigation keeps moving, but somehow never feels like it is getting closer to the truth. And that usually means one thing in a soap like this. Somebody is steering the narrative behind the scenes. What keeps standing out to me is how quickly Isaiah became the center of suspicion. That happened almost too smoothly, too naturally. Like the storyline wanted everyone looking in one direction immediately before harder questions started surfacing. And if you ask me, that is exactly the kind of setup GH uses when the obvious answer is hiding something much bigger underneath. Because the truth may be far more complicated than a simple hit and run. Jordan herself does not even seem convinced this was random anymore. You can feel it in the way the story keeps circling back to her instincts. That matters. Jordan has spent years around dangerous people, corruption, secrets, investigations. She knows when something smells off. And honestly, it feels like her gut is screaming at her that the crash was not just bad luck. It feels like she is starting to realize she may have been targeted long before the accident happened. And that changes everything. Because suddenly this stops being about who hit her car. Now it becomes about why. That is the question nobody inside Port Charles seems comfortable answering right now. Very likely because the answer leads somewhere dangerous. Maybe Jordan found something inside PCPD she was never supposed to see. Maybe she noticed missing evidence connected to another case. Maybe she uncovered financial records that pointed toward corruption inside the department. Or maybe, and this is where things start getting darker, Jordan accidentally crossed paths with something tied to WSB. Honestly, the WSB angle makes this story feel terrifying. Because whenever WSB enters the picture, the rules change. Nothing stays simple. Nothing stays clean. Suddenly, evidence disappears. Witnesses get nervous. Timelines stop making sense. And people start protecting information instead of exposing it. That is exactly the energy surrounding Jordan's crash right now. It almost feels like somebody needed the aftermath to become chaotic on purpose. Because confusion protects secrets. If everyone is busy arguing over Isaiah, nobody asks whether the accident itself was staged from the beginning. And guys, I really think that possibility is becoming more real every episode. What if Jordan was already under surveillance before the crash? What if somebody knew where she was going that night? What if the accident happened only after Jordan got too close to information capable of exposing something buried deep inside PCPD or WSB? That would explain why the storyline feels so tense even during quiet scenes. It feels like fear is sitting underneath everything. Not panic, not grief, fear. The kind of fear people have when they know one wrong move could expose all of them. And the most unsettling part is that Jordan surviving may have ruined the entire plan. Because if this was supposed to silence her permanently, then somebody failed. Now the people behind it may be scrambling to contain the damage before Jordan remembers something important. That would explain why the investigation keeps feeling strangely incomplete. Certain details feel missing. Certain moments feel intentionally vague. It is almost like pieces of the story are being hidden in real time. If you ask me, that is not accidental writing. That feels deliberate. And here is where the paranoia really starts building. Because if somebody inside PCPD is involved, Jordan may already be trapped inside a corrupted system without realizing how deep it goes. Think about that for a second. Every report passes through someone. Every piece of evidence gets logged by someone. Every witness statement gets processed by someone. If even one person high enough in the department is compromised, the entire investigation could be manipulated before Jordan ever sees the truth. That possibility makes this storyline so much darker emotionally, because Jordan has always been portrayed as strong, intelligent, controlled. Watching her slowly realize she cannot trust the system around her would completely destroy her sense of safety. And honestly, I think the show may be moving in exactly that direction. But then there is the other possibility. What if PCPD is not the mastermind at all? What if they are also being manipulated? Because WSB operations rarely stay isolated. Sometimes local authorities become pawns without even understanding who is really moving the pieces. And if that is happening here, then Jordan may have stumbled into something much larger than departmental corruption. This could be about buried operations, hidden identities, off-book missions. Maybe Jordan discovered a connection between someone inside Port Charles and an old WSB operation that was supposed to stay dead forever. Maybe names connected to the crash overlap with another sealed investigation. Maybe Jordan saw a pattern no one else recognized yet. And maybe that is why somebody wanted her off the board before she connected everything together. Guys, the scariest possibility of all is that the crash itself may only be phase 1. Because if Jordan starts getting closer to the truth now, whoever orchestrated this may become desperate. That is when soap stories become dangerous. Not during the initial attack. During the cleanup, maybe Jordan starts noticing she is being watched. Maybe confidential information disappears from her apartment. Maybe someone begins leaking false information to make her look unstable. Maybe people around her start turning against each other because somebody is quietly feeding them lies. That kind of psychological manipulation would fit perfectly with a WSB storyline. Physical violence creates attention. Psychological pressure creates silence. And honestly, the more I think about it, the more I believe the real danger may not be the person who caused the crash. The real danger may be the person controlling everything afterward. Because someone clearly benefits from confusion. Someone benefits from Curtis chasing Isaiah. Someone benefits from Jordan doubting her own instincts. Someone benefits from the truth staying buried just a little longer. And if you ask me, that means Jordan's accident was never just an accident. It was the beginning of something much bigger. The real question now is whether Jordan uncovers the truth before the people behind this decide she has become too dangerous to keep alive.
Goodbye. Please like, subscribe, and comment on the GH Spoilers Daily channel.